Alrighty good people, after all those intense story games like Pragmata, Resident Evil Requiem and Death Stranding 2, it's time for something a bit more relaxed today. You know, just something to sit in front of your laptop, get your favorite snack and refreshment and just have a good time, without having to worry about jump scares, getting your heart broken by your daughter/pet android, or trying to wrap your head around what Hideo Kojima has cooked up in his basement once again. So I'd say just driving around the rolling hills of Japan and some of the most sought-after cars grazing the back roads of the world sounds like a good idea. So how about we have a look at Forza Horizon 6. We had the chance to test the latest installment of one of the biggest IPs when it comes to racing games for a few days now, and I'll give you some performance impressions on a 5060 and a 5090 laptop, as well as some graphics and gameplay insights along the way. So sit back, put on your seatbelts and let's get into it. As I have just mentioned, Forza Horizon 6 takes us into the land of the cherry blossoms, the snow-capped mountains, rolling hills with winding back roads, and apparently one of the biggest urban areas of the franchise, Tokyo. And I have to admit, being relatively new to the series, the sheer amount of visual variety is quite gorgeous. My test systems for the new racing games are the still relatively new Lenovo Legion 7A running AMD's latest Ryzen 400 silicon in combination with a 5060 to represent a bit more of a mainstream mobile gaming setup, and the Razer Blade 18 giving us the 5090 experience. And it will be quite interesting to see if Nvidia's fastest mobile GPU can give us some decent frame rates on the 18 inches 4K display. On the technical side, Forza presents itself with a very capable engine, offering stunning views and quite some detail, especially when it comes to car models, which it should given the overall focus of the game. It also supports real-time ray tracing, especially for reflections, and new for this year is a ray-traced global illumination for a more realistic approach to lighting in the game world. And again, it's a pretty game, but as per usual, and as you will see in a second, you will have to deal with the obligatory performance hit when using ray tracing. But thankfully, the game still looks more than well enough, even with traditionally rasterized rendering. So how about we have a look at what a 5060 can do, and thankfully the game offers an integrated benchmark, so I can directly give you an overview what you can get out of the different setting levels. So as you can see, 1080p with the Extreme preset will be your best bet right away, and it's actually a great starting point to further tweak the settings with DLSS and even FrameGen. And by the way, Forza Horizon 6 is the first game to natively support version 4.5 of Team Green's upscaler, so you're also very flexible with the quality levels here. So I did most of my playtime on the Legion with the Extreme preset with DLSS set to quality and 4x MFG, with frame rates hovering around the 200 mark, which is actually quite impressive. If you rather want to take advantage of the Legion's simply gorgeous QHD OLED in its native resolution, dropping things to Ultra and switching to DLSS performance does the trick quite nicely, with FPS numbers in the 70s and things staying well within the 5060's 8GB frame buffer. And the game still looks quite nice and incredibly detailed. Adding MFG in this case gets you well above 150 to 160ish FPS for a pretty smooth overall driving experience. But what about ray tracing on Nvidia's mobile mid-ranger? Well, you definitely have to tweak things here a little bit, especially when trying to stay within the 5060's 8GB of VRAM. But with using the game's high preset in 1080p and manually setting ray traced reflections and global illumination to high, still gets you around 70 FPS with DLSS in balanced mode without exceeding the VRAM capacity. So as you can see, you have a lot of options to fine-tune the game to your individual desired experience, but as per usual with this class of GPU, you might have to play around with settings a little bit depending on what you are looking for. But what about the 5090? Well, as you can see, it's pretty much the usual for Nvidia's fastest mobile GPU, and you do not really have to tweak anything here at all. Sure, without any upscaling and in the Blade's native 16:10 4K resolution, things are not looking too rosy at first glance, but DLSS is incredibly effective in this case, and even the quality setting gets us close to a 60 FPS experience. And since we're dealing with the 4.5 version and 4K, you can set things to performance without an issue, and the game still looks great. You easily get above 60 FPS here, and once again, when opting for MFG, you can enjoy a super smooth ride through the game's version of Japan, with frame rates way beyond the 150 FPS mark. And I got to admit, again, Forza is indeed a very pretty game. And especially when the sun is low or when you get wet roads, things look simply stunning. Is it the be-all, end-all racing game experience? Well, if you are a die-hard fan of the genre, you will probably want something with a bit more of a realistic driving experience, even though you can do a lot of tweaking even in Forza. And while the story is a bit shallow overall and animations outside of driving or racing can be a bit awkward, I personally still had a ton of fun testing the game, especially because of its more casual nature. And I can easily see myself spending more hours after a long day editing videos, when I just want to relax and have a good time without being constantly challenged, even though, as you can see, my driving skills are still lacking quite a bit. But that should be it for today and for our little initial overview what you can expect from Forza Horizon 6. If you want to get additional insights into the game's performance, please make sure to check out our article on the website for more GPUs, not just from Team Green, but we also benched Intel's latest Panther options, AMD's Strix Halo, and hopefully we can test a few handhelds as well, since my initial first impressions on the MSI Claw 8, for example, have been quite favorable as well. Thanks a ton for watching, folks. Make sure to have a look around the channel for more about laptops, tech and video games, and please leave a like and sub if you felt informed and entertained. My name is Alex, you have been awesome as always, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Take care.